Well, you're thinking there about the first musical encounters and how these developed. Um, Really, yes. The first single I can remember demanding, was "Ticket to Ride" by the Beatles. I really like that. I can remember seeing black and white images of music on TV. I remember around 1969 there was a magazine program from around 6 o'clock in the evening, and so people sang a song about the change from either 68 to 79 or 69 or something like that. But I was struck by the melody of it. The Monkeys had a big effect on me musically, I guess, because I thought it was funny. In my brain, there was kind of Cliff Richards and the Shadows. Oddly enough, the record that was number one when I was born was a piece of music by the Shadows called "Wonderful Land," and I have such a love for that song. How cool to be born at a time when the world is resounding with the music of "Wonderful Land." My first notion of wanting to do anything musical was sitting outside and hearing a next door neighbour complain that her son is all about David Bowie, and Space Oddity came on the radio when they were talking about it, and I heard this complaint and I heard this sound, and I made a connection between some kind of sort of disturbing feeling that these parents were experiencing. Their feathers were ruffled by this noise, and when I saw Bowie, do Starman on Top of the Pops and things, so Gene Genie was the first single I ever bought. Aladdin Sane was the first album I had. My mum was in hospital during that time, and so it became my friend. I asked my dad for some money, and I admit that I borrowed some change from my dad, and I got a couple of Bowie albums. I got Ziggy Stardust and Space Oddity and Man Who Sold the World and Hunky Dory. And Hunky Dory had a massive impact on me. The precise sequence was Aladdin Sane first, then Ziggy Stardust, then Hunky Dory. There was a long gap between that and the others. And Hunky Dory, everyone was raving about Ziggy Stardust, but I thought Aladdin Sane had something else. Aladdin Sane had this kind of pantomime thing. It had this otherworldliness to it to me. Lady Grinning the Soul is just beautiful. The orchestration, the Spanish guitar, the piano, the kind of the structured insanity of Aladdin Sane, the held back intensity of Panic in Detroit. Those songs, for me, were just absolutely fantastic. And when I heard Hunky Dory, and I was reading about the lyrics of "Oh You Pretty Things" and things, and Quicksand got me. What is that? What is a Golden Dawn? Who is Crowley? What is a bardo? And I started wanting to know these things. So I found my 11-year-old brain wanted to understand these deep philosophical issues. And so my first kind of excursion into the realm of esoteric philosophy was from a David Bowie song. So in terms of impact, I've spent most of my adult life teaching esoteric philosophies and exploring past life regressions and the nature of life, the nature of death, philosophically, psychologically, esoterically with people, where I teach these things and people value what I'm teaching, so it's my profession. And it was all kick-started by a David Bowie song when I was about 10 or 11 years old. And actually in my classes I include music, and when I teach that topic of philosophy, the play-out music at the end of that class is Quicksand by David Bowie. And I kind of say this is my first encounter with these ideas wasn't with a book or a holy text. It was from a song by this almost androgynous man. And so that had a massive effect on me. I mentioned before the Sex Pistols and punk, and this kind of notion that you can play music and it doesn't matter if whatever noise it is, because it's your noise, and if it's your noise it has a value. And that punk ethos of it doesn't matter what you do, it's yours, and because it's yours it has a value. So as long as you're expressing your sound, it's good enough. It's part of the tapestry of creation. So make your mark on the palette of humanity, and that's all you need to do. And it doesn't matter what people think of it. All that matters is that you're expressing yourself, because you're part of reality. And that whole thing has covered everything I do, from how I write, what I express, through different art forms of poetry and music and songs and articles and science papers. Everything I do has this slightly kind of sort of left field, no one's done it that way kind of edge, and it's because of that sort of almost like permission, and that's how I got it. It's permission for self-expression, and that had a massive impact on me. Instead of being frightened of what people might say or nervous about people's attitudes, it's like, oh fuck it, it's like, this is just what I do, and I'm just going to do that. And if you like it, that's great. And if you don't like it, well then go away and listen to something else. It doesn't matter. There's enough music in this world for everybody, and so this is my bit. And likewise poetry, likewise any artistic thing I do. So for me, it kind of gave me a sense of being able to freely be me without having this kind of inhibitive self-critique, or a desire to fit with a box, or a desire to understand what's required by some external consciousness, whether that's a government or a teacher or an audience, Yeah. So I've learned really since then that there's an audience for every form of art anyway, and whether you're going north, south, east or west, there's a north, south, east or west audience. So it doesn't matter. All that matters is that you love what you do, and just putting passion and love into what you do is enough, because people will either love it as well or not. And if they don't love it, that doesn't mean that what you do isn't lovable. It just means you're doing it in the wrong place. It's the context that's wrong, not yourself. So if you're telling West jokes to an East audience, when what you need to do is just remove your physical body and put yourself in front of a West audience, and then they'll appreciate you. So it's not that your comedy is wrong, it's not that the audience is wrong, it's just that you're a square peg in a round hole. That's all it is. And I think everything in life is like that. I think love is like that. I don't think that there's a thing of a bad husband or a bad woman as such. I think it's just a bad match. It's about compatibility. And when the artist and the audience are compatible, when the him and her are compatible, when the people and the government are compatible, when there's a compatibility, then you get flow. And when there isn't any flow, it just shows you that there isn't compatibility, and that means something needs to change. And it's okay for things to change. It's all right. It's natural and organic for things to grow. And that's really what I've got out of being involved in music. So, yes, I'll now go to your next question. That was how it's changed my life. Could I talk about my first musical encounters and how these developed? Oh, a very quick thing then about bands, I guess. I'll do that as a separate video.